Hello everyone, Ebba here. Gary's over there across the table. We've arrived in Lethbridge. Yes. We had a heck of a drive. We actually stayed overnight at Moose Jaw because it was just too windy and too hard to come that other 2 hours. So we pulled in and stopped. We got to a Flying J. I don't remember if I did a video on it. I don't think I did yesterday. Anyway, pardon me, we're eating dessert, which is little pecan tarts, and having sort of an evening snack. We can't stay at the Walmart anymore. Lethbridge made some laws, so we are at the Flying J, which used to be a Petro Pass when we were here last year, and this year it's a Flying J. I think that's how it went. Anyway, we're here at this Flying J. It's a big, dusty, unpaved lot with gas pumps, and that's about it. Now, Flying J themselves may have taken over. I remember years ago it was Petro Pass, but I don't remember if it was last year. It might have been taken over, like the spot might have been taken over by Flying J. Anyway, when they changed their rules, we can now stay here where before we weren't allowed. But now we're not allowed to stay at the Walmarts because the city put in some ordinances so that none of the parking lots, nobody is allowed to allow RVs to park in their lots just being there. I imagine they wanted to get rid of all the riffraff like us that live in our motorhomes. Yeah, because there's a few of us around, and I know last year when we were in that parking lot, there was quite a few people living in homeless people. Yeah, a lot of seniors living in either motorhomes or their vehicle, whatever their vehicle was, because the rents here, well, they're still horrendous, and we couldn't afford to live here. And we don't know what the rest of the province is like, but I doubt it's improved. Apparently there's a lot of people that are in politics that own rental homes, or they would have better rent control, you know, but anyway, yeah, so we made it here. We we had to go immediately and look after a bill payment that we needed to do once we got here, and we couldn't do it before we got here, which was fun. And then oh, pardon me. Then we went to the dump station. They still have that, thank goodness. It's at the visitor information, and it's actually really good. And it doesn't cost. You just go and dump your tanks and get fresh water and whatever you need to do there. Throw out your garbage. It's actually really good. There aren't a lot of parks around here either, RV parks. So there's really nowhere for RVs to stay in town. Now, where, I mean, both Walmarts used to be full, and it wasn't just, you know, people living in their motorhomes. It was people passing through, and they used to be full in the evenings and at night. There would be, you know, 10, 15 units all sitting in there sleeping. And then they'd all take off in the daytime and be gone to wherever they were going to. But most of them would shop at the store wherever they were parked, and it used to be an RV-friendly place. It's not anymore. It's just one more reason we don't really want to be here. And my breathing is crap. It's gotten really bad since we crossed into, well, it was good in Brandon. The breathing was fine in Brandon. There's enough moisture in the air there, and we figure that it's probably the dryness rather than the wind that is causing me problems. And so now I'm back to a point where if I do anything little, like going to the bathroom or making a sandwich or anything, I'm really winded and need to sit down and breathe. Just breathe. It's turned hot, as you might have seen, which I'm not complaining, because we, 2 weeks ago we were freezing, and now look at us. You know, it's crazy. And even last week we were on the cold side at points. But here we are. Now it's summer and it's hot. And here, it's been warm for a while because the trees all have leaves. It's a very early spring for Alberta. Usually, you don't get real spring until after the May long weekend, which is Victoria Day, which is around the 20th, the 21st, because Queen Victoria's birthday was the 21st. And it's always the weekend before. So, yeah, so we had, unless it falls on a Saturday and then it's Friday, kind of. Anyway, yeah, we have Victoria Day here, and that's coming up, and it's always after Mother's Day too. So, but it's usually still cold at this time of year. I know last year it was, because last year we had snow in the end of April, I think it was, that we had snow. And quite a lot of it, and it was quite chilly. I mean, we had a furnace and things at the time, but yeah. So Gary's been sitting this evening, and he's going through, he found a list of various markets, farmers markets and things like that, online. It's a last year's one, so we're going to have to check with different ones. And he's been going through the list and looking at which ones we might be interested in going to. We don't want to be going really far away from each other, so we want to kind of keep it all within a certain distance, and that way we're not spending gallons and gallons of fuel to get anywhere, and wasting all the money that we might make at a market on fuel, spending it all. So we have to we have to look at that. And he's been going through it this evening. I was going through it on a paper form, and I this evening when we looked at it, that was a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, that I started doing that. I can't remember what the heck I was doing. I was doing stars on some and underlining. I don't remember at all what it was all about. I wrote no beside some of them because they were either too far away or they were only a 1 day a week thing, and they were not close to something else that was 1 day a week within driving distance kind of thing. And we want to kind of keep things within a reasonable driving distance, not so that we're going 3 and 4 hours out of our way. So we're eliminating things that are too far north and that are too far south. We're trying to stay in sort of central Alberta, which is Calgary region, and in that, and not too far east or west, so we're looking at the different markets. We found out about one. We don't know if we're going to do it. We're looking at it, but we don't know yet. We'll get more information. Our friend who's been collecting our mail, we'll be meeting up with her in a couple of days, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Depends on when she comes into town. And we have to go over to our storage. And we were thinking about staying here for a couple of weeks, but not if we can't, stay someplace nice. This is okay for sleeping in, but it is very dusty. And, there's trucks in and out all day and night. They're coming in for fuel, and, some of them are sitting here. Some sit running. There's somebody sitting running right now. I don't know where. They're fairly close. We can hear them quite easily. And, yeah. So, it's going to be noisier than some truck stops have been, and just because of that, because it's going to be in and out, which means we won't get decent sleep, and we really need to rest up, and so being here is not going to be helpful. And with Lethbridge being so RV unfriendly, we really are thinking, let's just get our stuff and we'll head up to Calgary area, and we'll have a look up there and see, because we're pretty sure we can stay. There's a Flying J right in Calgary, and we're pretty sure we can stay there now. And it's not going to, I don't think they can charge anymore. They were charging for staying here. They were charging the guys, the truck drivers, for staying there, and RVs stayed in a different area, but they were charging, and they were charging for dumping and all sorts. We don't mind if we have to pay a few dollars for dumping, because you know they have to, especially if they're on some sort of septic type of thing, because they have to have that pumped out. But or they may have to pay extra to the city or town to have that extra sewage, which is, you know, it's fine. We don't mind paying a few dollars. Like at Napanee, I think we paid 10. But you know, some places they want to charge you like $40, and this is, you know, no, we'll go find one that's $10 because you know, or free. Because otherwise it adds up very quickly. Little things like that really add up quickly when you're in a motorhome and you're living in it. So we've been looking at possibilities for our future. Having come back here, and both of us have croaky throats now. We're, you know, I mean, my throat is really dry all the time, and so is Gary's. And he's getting a more croaky throat. Had it today, and you know, I need a drink kind of thing. And so the dryness here is affecting the both of us now that we've been away and are coming back. So we're trying to think of, you know, like what can we do and what are our possibilities and things. And we don't know what's going to happen over the summer. I mean, it's like anybody's life. You don't know from day to day what's going to come along, what you're going to be seeing, or who you're going to meet, or you know, what might happen. But we are hoping that we're going to get some decent sales at some of these shows. So we're being kind of picky about what shows we go into, because you know, if you go in and even if you're only paying a few dollars, you usually have to get there and get, you know, and get out of there again. And so you have to take into account the fuel. And we got somebody, a big car hauler type of vehicle, kind of backing in, I think, into near us, maybe even next to us. I don't know. We've got a truck next to us, so it's one over maybe, or two over. Anyway, the trucks are going to start coming in because it's got, you know, it's later in the evening. It's after 7:30. So, but anyway, yeah. So we're going to be, over the summer, we're going to be looking at different possibilities and different opportunities, and we don't know what will end up happening. But if you are, you know, interested and curious, do subscribe to our channel, and that way, you know, when we upload, we will keep people informed on what we're doing. And we do want to do some things, some video at some of these shows, just show you our table and things like that, and just kind of give you an idea after the fact of, you know, maybe what our sales were and that sort of thing, just to get, you know, not necessarily exact numbers, but you know, we did good at that one, or we didn't do as good, and just, you know, just keep in mind that you know, we would be sharing just very, it's not going to be exact, and we're not going to show numbers and things like that, but just give you an idea of whether we did well or we didn't. You know, if it's a show that we do well in, we might go back. Not necessarily the next week, but we might go back later in the year, later in the summer. So we are getting in at a good time though, because a lot of these little markets, the ones that are only one day a week, they don't start, some of them don't start until June, into mid-June and toward the end of June, because they're selling like vegetables and things at them. A lot of them are farmers markets. And you're basically there, a lot of people in farmers markets, they're going for the fruits and vegetables. That's what they're going for. And and generally that's what's there. And they're not really going to look at anything else. So they kind of go in, they get their food, and they leave again, you know. So farmers markets are not necessarily a good thing. General markets are, craft markets maybe. You know, flea markets not so much, not for what we sell. Flea markets are good if we're selling a bunch of our stuff off, our used stuff off, then that's different. but the collectibles and my handmade cards and books and things like that, like the handmade things, and Gary's 3D printed things. Those are all things that won't do as well because people at a flea market want a bargain, and you know, we can't bargain on a lot of our stuff. We have to make a certain dollar on it. We can bargain on some, but not on all of it. Like, I price my things, anything I'm selling, whether it's collectibles or handmade. I'm pricing it reasonable, and so is Gary. He's pricing his 3D things reasonably. So, you know, we don't want to have to stand there negotiating over a price. It's sort of like, no, that's what we're charging. And a lot of people at flea markets, when they go to flea markets, they're expecting to be able to bargain and negotiate. And some of them are coming in, and what are they looking for? Well, they're resellers. So they're looking for a really good deal. And it's like when they go to yard sales, and they'll go at the end of whatever the weekend, you know, or whenever the yard sale is ending, they'll go right at the end, and they'll say, well, I'll give you $100 for everything. And I mean, a lot of people will do it. They'll take the money because they just want to get rid of everything. But if they're trying to do it to make a few dollars, then it becomes really difficult because, you know, they don't want to sell that way, because next week they're going to be selling too. And there's a lot of people do that. They go to yard sales and they pick up stuff, and then they go home and they have a yard sale. And they've gotten good deals on this stuff. And I mean, there's some people that are doing it online. They sell online as well. They get on eBay and things like that. And a lot of them are in the U.S. because there's a lot more people buy there online. And so there's resellers, a lot of them online. And they don't mind shipping out because in the U.S., you know, as long as it's within the U.S., they'll ship out. And some of them, they'll put it, instead of putting it onto an eBay or an Etsy or anything like that, they will put it onto their local marketplace. And that way they don't have to pay shipping, you know, whoever it is comes and picks it up, or they might meet them someplace to help them out, like, you know, pick things up. But most of the time it's you come and get it if you want it. But yeah, so anyway, I am rambling now, so I'm going to stop. And but you know, keep in mind that we will be showing different things as we go along. But at this point, we don't really have a plan. We're here. We know we have to go to both of our storages. We need to do exchanges on all sorts of things. We need to get our laundry done so we can go through our winter things, put our winter things away, because we won't need them until winter now. It's pretty warm in Alberta most of the time. You know, you keep one, maybe two sweatshirts and a jacket, and because in the summertime you could end up with a snowstorm. It happens. I've seen it. I had a snowstorm at the end of May one year, and another one in the middle of July, and it's like 3 or 4 feet of snow. You know, so 2.5, 3, 4 feet of snow, and it's not really cold. And then by noon it's all gone. It'll be completely gone because it gets hot. Alberta, southern Alberta in particular, Calgary, if you look on you know, sunny days per year, the annual sunny days for cities, Calgary has the highest number. It's over 330 summer days in a year they have that are sunny, and that's summer and winter. It's a beautiful sunny place. It's just so dry, but it's not really desert, but it's really dry here because there's not a lot of lakes. There's a pond here and a, you know, bit of water there, and there's a few lakes, but there's just really not a lot of lakes in Alberta. Apparently in northern Alberta right now, we had a friend called us, and apparently they have forest fires going on already. It's not even mid-May, and that's really telling how dry the season is going to get. But so we can expect forest fire smells in southern Alberta here for the whole summer, and high winds. and that's one of the problems when the wind comes up and when there's a forest fire. You know, I mean, it'll wipe out a whole town. But anyway, I'm going to go now and finish my tart and drink my pop, and then I'm probably going to go to sleep. It's been quite a day, and I know Gary went and had a nap as soon as we kind of parted.
I was reading.
You were reading. Sorry, he was reading. He quite often reads with his eyes shut, which is it's a skill. It's a skill I'd like to learn because I'm half blind, and you know, reading for me is harder now. But anyway, we will talk to you all again soon, and yeah, you take care of yourselves. And like I said, if you're new here and you kind of enjoy me blabbering away at you with, you know, nonsense, then do join. I will be trying to do some crafting, but it's just really hard right now. If I could show you what the inside of our motorhome looks like, you'd understand. There is no place for me to do crafting. Absolutely none. We move things around so we can get on the bed at night. Yeah, it's quite exciting. Whenever we want to go someplace, we have to put things onto the bed so they don't fall over. And then we have to get them all off again at night so that we can go to sleep. Yeah, we live quite a life. Very exciting. But I'm happier now, and so is Gary, because it's warm and we don't have to freeze at night. And you know, we have sunshine around us a lot now, and we will have in Alberta. But I don't know if we're going to be able to stay for any longer than maybe this season, and then we'll have to see what we do. But we'll keep you up to date, and I hope you enjoy what all I'm blabbering about, and get a laugh once in a while anyway. And take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you again soon. I'm not sure at this point when, because there's no internet here either. So it's like a dusty little truck stop with a little shack over there. There's no food, there's nothing. You ain't getting nothing here. You know. Fortunately, it's fairly close to, you know, food. So out there in the big world of Lethbridge, there's not restaurants. Well, there is lots of restaurants, but there's grocery stores and things too. So we're good. Anyway, take care. I gotta say goodbye, and I will talk to you again when I can. Bye for now.